On December 21st, Yuta Iridatsu and his neighbor Rabura Chichibu are involved in a bus hijacking, at which point the superhero Strange Juice arrives to save the day. Rabura is rendered unconscious by the mastermind, who hesitates to shoot Strange Juice when he notices a pink G on her neck. When Yuta sees Rabura's underwear, he gains strength and tackles the mastermind into the water. He awakens on the beach with Strange Juice, and upon seeing her underwear, he falls unconscious and loses power. Something then falls from the sky, forcing his soul to leave his body. 2 days later, he awakens in his room at the Korai House apartment complex, where Kairanasuk, a spirit cat, explains that another spirit is inhabiting his body and that he must find the Nandala Gendala book to reclaim it. While Yuta searches for the book in his apartment building, he discovers that seeing girls' underwear twice in a row causes him to lose consciousness and a meteor to destroy the Earth. Fortunately, he also discovers that he can relive the situation in his spirit form and manipulate objects to a limited degree. Later, Yuta discovers that Mikaten Narujino, his neighbor, is Strange Juice. As Rabura despairs that she will never have genuine spirit powers like her parents, the apartment's landlady, Meika Daihatsu, learns cheermancy to cheer her up, which Rabura misunderstands to be necromancy. In the meantime, Yuta discovers that cinnamon dust in the air increases his spirit powers, and he uses this knowledge to break a bottle in front of Rabura, though he is unable to repeat the feat without the cinnamon boost. Later, Ito Hikyatani fails to conceal an abandoned bear cub named Muhai that she discovered in a box. The Kyumei group broadcasts a video challenging the government to explain the impending arrival of an asteroid on New Year's Eve, prompting Yuta to suspect that the group's recently deceased leader, Kyumei Tsubauchi, is inhabiting his body. Later, as Mikaten plans a Christmas party in Ito's room, she attempts to conceal her identity as Strange Juice from Ito by utilizing Meika's camouflage technology. Later that night, Turtle Man, an intruder from the Kyumei group, attempts to kidnap Muhai, who is injured in the struggle. However, he is rescued by a costumed hero named Kenji Miyazawa, who possesses regenerative healing and appears to have the same powers as Yuta. Ito and Rabura subsequently discover that Mikaten is Strange Juice, while Meika is revealed to be a robot. In a flashback, a boy named Pine asks a girl named Kiriko to escape with him from a laboratory while another girl, Chiyoko, sings. In the present, as Rabura prepares for a date with a man named Gliza, Yuta learns that a girl whose name appeared on a list posted by Kyumei has been found dead, along with Ito's. Yuta uses cinnamon power to possess Rabura's body, but fails to warn the others about Ito's predicament before the cinnamon's effects wear off. After meeting with Rabura, Gliza reveals that he works for the NSA and is attempting to contact Meika so that she can hack the Kyumei group's virus before it disrupts a satellite designed to intercept the meteor. They are interrupted by Kenji, who is thwarted by Rabura, and all of the girls end up fighting. Later, Yuta recognizes a song sung by Mikaten as having been performed by Chiyoko. Yuta is shocked to discover Ito dead at the shrine on December 29th, then uses his ability to travel back in time to earlier that day. Mikaten is able to prevent Rabura from going to the temple after Yuta possesses her, and warns her about Ito's impending doom. Ito reveals to Mikaten that the other girls' names in the video are those of her school bullies, and that she originally posted the video as a joke, but that her name was later added to it and she received threatening emails. Yuta has a flashback of Pine using the ability Uberfy to protect Chiyoko when Mikaten mentions she was raised with 2 other children at Uber Labs. The following day, the Turtle Man captures Muhai for not attending the shrine. Yuta manipulates Ito's phone to lure the intruder to the rooftop, where Meika and Rabura have set a trap for him, but the intruder sees through their plan and shoots Meika as Kenji and Mikaten arrive on the scene. The Turtle Man reveals he has the same Uberfy abilities as Kenji and Mikaten and fights back. However, Kenji, who can perceive Yuta, creates an opportunity for him to possess Rabura and defeat the intruder, allowing Meika to survive as well. The girls later discover that the intruder was Ito's homeroom teacher Chihaya Tomoda, who allowed himself to be possessed by Kyumei Tsubauchi's spirit to exact revenge on the students who bullied Ito. The following day, the girls host a New Year's Eve party, where Meika reveals that Yuta is biologically female, and Ito learns how she met Mikaten. After Kenji assists Mikaten, who must take medication to counteract the side effects of her powers, The meteorite in orbit begins to rapidly approach Earth. Kenji, revealing himself to be Yuda's future self, gives Yuda the Nandala Gandala, which is blank except for the word U-turn, and tells him that in order to regain control of his body and prevent the destruction of the Earth, he must travel back in time to the beginning. Yuda returns to his own body on December 21st, immediately following the bus hijacking. After reviewing the upcoming important dates, Yuda is informed by Kairanasu that he must alter the future, something his previous selves were unable to do, without revealing the truth to anyone or altering the future without his permission, further explaining how his nosebleeds will lead to the destruction of humanity. After setting up talismans to prevent his spirit double from reaching his body, Yuda decides against riding U-turn into the Nandala Gandala because he believes it would be an admission of defeat. He also prevents his spirit double from viewing the girl's underwear. The next day, as Yuda attempts to question Rabura about Gliza, he spots Tomoda and pursues him, but is stopped by Kairanasu, who warns him against undoing the events that help the residents form bonds with one another. Kairanasu explains further that the reason Yuda's soul detached so easily from his body occurred 9 years ago. During this event, Chiyoko and Yuriko ended up exchanging bodies when a lightning strike struck their uberfied states, resulting in Yuda, who was the result of Pine's soul being placed in Chiyoko's body. Yuda receives a package from his foster sister Akina Iridatsu, which turns out to be the Kenji Miyazawa costume. In the present, Yuda assumes the identity of Kenji on December 24th, the day Tomoda attempted to abduct Muhai for the first time. In order to pursue him, Yuda discovers, through interrogation of the soul of Tsubauchi possessing Tomoda, that the Kyume group was responsible for the creation of both Muhai and Uber powers. After Kyume has left and Tomoda has been hospitalized, Yuda speaks with Meika, who appears to be familiar with Kenji due to the words of her late grandfather, who instructed her to form a superhero team known as Justice Punch after receiving a fax from the future. The following day, Yuda meets with Rabura's cousin Rando, who gave Muhai to Ito and betrayed the Kyume group to stop their W project. Later, on December 26th, Miketan collapses in front of Yuda as she thanks him for his assistance during the bus hijacking. Yuda reveals his identity as Pine to Miketan, who is revealed to be Chiyoko's soul inhabiting Yuriko's body. After obtaining her medication, Miketan describes how she was cared for by Ishigata, the man who helped everyone escape from Uber Labs and who was later killed by lab members searching for her. The following day, Yuda speaks with various scientists who refute Gliza's claims about being able to destroy the meteor with nuclear weapons, leading him to suspect that Gliza is concealing his identity. Yuda then informs Meika of Miketan's deteriorating condition and requests a physical examination from her. The next day, December 27th, Kairanasu urges Yuda not to alter the events of the previous day, which would lead to the group fighting and reconciling. But Yuda decides against this and confronts Kairanasu. Gliza reveals himself to be one of the Kyume group's leaders, who devised a plan to deceive Meika into hacking into a satellite in order to alter the meteor's trajectory towards Earth. Gliza hits Yuda with an anesthetic and attacks with Uber-Fi abilities, revealing himself to be Yuriko, who is currently inhabiting Pine's body. Yuda discovers on the morning of December 28th that he is too late to prevent Meika from hacking into the satellite as planned by Yuriko, giving Kyume the ability to launch missiles at the meteor in order to direct it towards Earth. Kairanasu instructs Yuda to prepare for his next self, as he views the mission to save humanity as a failure. The following day, on December 29th, the day Ito was originally scheduled to die, Yuda and Miketan receive a text message summoning them to the shrine, where they encounter Yuriko, who had kidnapped Ito to lure them out. Yuriko explains that the only way Yuda and Miketan can survive the meteor impact is if they transform into WS using Muhai's regeneration ability before she departs. Just as Yuda is about to give up, he remembers his friends and becomes determined to protect them. He then asks Meika for assistance in saving humanity. Meika, after learning about the change in the meteor's trajectory and everything Yuda has been through, devises a plan to launch all of the world's ballistic missiles at the meteor as it comes within range, and tasks Yuda with defending Korai House against anyone attempting to stop her. On the day before New Year's Eve, Meika is reluctant to allow the others, who had eavesdropped on her conversation, to assist with the operation, claiming that Miketan will die if she Uber-Fies again. However, The remaining members of the Justice Punch team remain determined to assist. On New Year's Eve, Yuda and Mikaten begin protecting the Korai house from armed forces under the influence of the Kyume organization. Ito uses a mech to repel the army while the spirit Yuda possesses Rabura to aid Yuda and Mikaten. Yuriko arrives with a team of WS and the US Army, whose leader is possessed by Tsubauchi. Yuriko infiltrates the Korai house with 30 minutes remaining and severely damages Meika, putting an end to her hacking. Rabura manages to stop Tsubauchi and exorcise him, allowing Ito and Meika to complete the hacking, launch the missiles, and destroy the meteor while Yuda battles Yuriko. In the meantime, Mikaten decides to use her power to prevent Yuda and Yuriko from fighting. Yuda switches bodies with Chiyoko before Mikaten is killed by the side effects, returning Mikaten to Chiyoko's body while he dies in hers. 49 days later, the spirit Yuda bids farewell to the others before returning to the past to complete the tasks necessary for a prosperous future. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.